Hey guys, it's the end of a Monday and just wanted to do a new style video kind of covering what's been going on lately, what new releases are out, what I'll be working on in the coming week, and that type of deal. We'll cover up maybe a little bit longer than a week in this case since I haven't done one of these before, but let's jump into it. First of all, and most importantly, yes, I have pre-ordered my Tamiya Dancing Rider. If you haven't seen the Dancing Rider, it's the coolest RC that's been released in quite a while. 3-wheel, leaning action, amazing. 380 size motor, okay. Still, it's amazing and it looks like the most fun I've ever had. Retail on it's like 120 bucks. And in that low dollar range area, something else that had been announced a while ago, but it is coming out soon, kind of this December-ish time frame sometime, listed as late December, I think currently, but that's that little Ecx Barrage 124 scale rig. I don't know why, I've had the little crawlers in the past. For some reason, I want one again, and that little ECX is like around 99 bucks, 124 scale. It's got the truggy style rear cage. You know, though a couple of things about it, it does have non-worm gear style axles, which is not typical for that 124 scale normally. It seems like they mainly have all had worm gears in the past. That ECX does appear to be branded under a couple of different names depending on what part of the world you're in. In the US, Ecx Barrage 124. I'll put links to those items if you haven't seen them below. For a 124 scale, it's got some of the typical stuff as far as like an ESC receiver combo. So if you want to upgrade that, you are going to have to pull all of it out and then redo that. We'll have to see if that servo in it is a typical 3-wire or if when you replace an ESC and receiver, you would also have to replace the servo. Two exciting things from Proline last week where they released 2 new bodies, but one of them was a new power wagon, which they did a really good job on. It's a 12.3 inch wheelbase steel, so you can throw it on any of your, SCX 10s or Viteras, anything that sits in that 12.3 range. Pretty cool looking body though, especially with the paint job that they did for the promo. That copper and black look just looked really good. They also released a smaller body. It's still, 1/10 ish as far as proportions, but it's a Suzuki Samurai, so it's smaller in general. It's made for a 10-inch wheelbase, which would be like the ECX Barrage, I think, which is like the 1/18th version though. So cool, but small. If you like Suzuki Samurais, probably a pretty good option for you, but if you don't, it's probably just going to be one of the very few options you have for that wheelbase choice that is available now with some of those other less expensive cars. Also, a week ago today, on last Monday, there was a release from MST of their CMX RTR with a square body Chevy on it. It looks okay. From the pictures, they're kind of like an illustration picture more than like a product photo. So it is on their little CMX platform, which is okay. It's not really something that I would find myself looking to build all that often. The links are kind of left something to be desired there. But once you fix the links, other than that, it's a well-built little car. It's just not my style. But it does have a forward motor mount. It does sit a little high as far as that goes. And overall, like the build quality of it feels good. If you've ever owned an MST, either drift car or one of their other scale crawlers, their build quality is good. Some of the little design changes they have here and there, it's just something, they're not huge into this market, but overall, kind of a cool little car. And speaking of new cars, while I was at RC Country, which is one of my local hobby shops this weekend, they had one of the Carisma Coyotes. That one, I'm not a big fan of. Probably still grab one, tear it apart, kind of show you guys what's inside of it. Overall though, it doesn't feel great. The body looks cool. I think it's modeled after some sort of Toyota. I can't remember the exact model of Toyota that it's modeled after, but the body looks cool. It's a flat black. It's small, but I think that Toyota body is kind of small in general. The chassis on it feels a little kind of flimsy. It's a C channel, but there's just something about the chassis that doesn't feel great. It does have shock towers that are compatible with an SCX 10 style shock tower, so you can either put old SCX 10 style or SCX 10 2 style shock towers on it, since they'll bolt up to the same frame holes. It is a servo on axle. The axle itself is based off of the Viterra, it appears. It's basically got the same center section as like a Viterra Twin Hammer's rear axle with those bolt-on tube designs. I believe the ring gear and stuff is the same inside from what I'm told. I haven't torn it apart yet myself. The axles themselves are okay looking, not great. The drive shafts are metal on it, which is a bonus for an RTR like that. I mean, all metal. It does have the pin style slider in it though, which is not the best style of drive shaft. Those have been prone to failure, but it is an all-metal drive shaft out of the box, which is pretty impressive. What's not impressive about the drive shafts is the drive shaft angle, especially in the rear. Pretty awful looking. Metal links on it though, bonus there. It does have CVDs in the front. The steering angle, it's got hard stops molded into the axle, so it's only going to steer so far, not likely to oversteer and then break a CVD unless the material on that CVD is to be lacking, which we don't know. At first look, the transmission looks okay. The skid plate is got all kinds of lips and things like that to hang up. It's got a standard style rock rail kind of mount that comes off the side, and it's got what appears to be like a rock light pod built into it. However, they hang straight down off the frame. They're just the biggest catch points you've ever seen. Overall, it's like a $300 truck. Speaking of going to the hobby shop this weekend, I've got some amazing hobby shops right here in Sacramento, let alone in the area around me within a pretty easy drive. I've been thinking about doing some short videos, just going, showing, touring around in those hobby shops. Here locally, I've got RC Country, which is amazing and big. Fast Track Hobbies, which is right by my house and huge, got sweet indoor slot cars and indoor slot car drag racing, which is awesome. Plus they do like a bunch of tiny whoop racing and things like that on certain nights. And then there's Hobbytown Folsom, which is on the other side of the city. I don't get to as much, but it's still in the city and a super nice place. Then we've got also like a Hobbytown Rockland here locally. So we have a ton of really nice hobby shops here in town. Then if I even want to make just a short swing not too far away from here, got ones like Hobbytown Concord, which I've followed on Facebook forever. They've got a super nice looking shop, it looks like. Jake's Performance Hobbies isn't too far from me, and it looks like they've got a super nice shop. Plus, CKRC, just up the hill in Reno, not that far from me either. So those are ones that are just right here that I could hit easily in the day. Plus, I travel all over. I know there's a bunch of awesome hobby shops down in LA that I've visited before. Pegasus is one of them that I visited, which was amazing. And then when I go to the Midwest, there's some great hobby shops there. If seeing what some of those shops look like would interest any of you, let me know in the comments. I would actually really like to go take the opportunity to go see some of those shops that I haven't seen before. So let me know below if that's something that would be of any interest to you guys to see some of those. And as far as videos and things like that go, I have been uploading to both Facebook and YouTube. YouTube usually gets it 6 or 8 hours in advance, and Facebook gets posted a little bit later. But I have been uploading to both places just for wherever you are viewing. However, I can't post all the same description info on Facebook as I can on YouTube. So when I'm talking about links in the descriptions and things like that, those are on YouTube only. That popped up when I was talking about the axial JK build that I was doing. When I put on these brawler rockers, I was talking about the electronics trays. Now, those electronics trays, I was talking about posting the links to Thingiverse, and I did that, but it's in the YouTube ad. So you can download those and print them yourself, or if you need them printed, something like that, you can shoot me a message on Facebook. As far as this axial JK goes, I do have some stuff that I'll get done to it this week. I've got a new set of electronics for it. I've got a new Holmes Polar Pro here. This is the 2700 kV, or right in that ballpark. And then I've got a Mamba X from Castle that I'll put in here. I also picked up a Futaba S9177 servo for it, and I'll control it all with my Futaba 4PV. So I'll cover all the electronics install on this thing sometime later this week. So that's what's been going on and what's going to go on this week. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post them below, and I'll try and answer some of them next week in this video. I'll try and do it every Monday. It'll give us something to cover, to kind of see what's been going on in the industry, what new releases, and what we'll be covering in videos. Thumbs up, subscribe, follow, wherever it is you're watching, whatever platform it is. I appreciate all the support, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.